Hello everyone, I'm Colin. Welcome back to my channel. Today, another metalworking job. I'm at my oscillating belt sander. And I know many of you have these. Today, I'm going to be putting a steel deck on this. So stick around, it's going to be fun. So all of these machines come with the belt sander, but as I mentioned, they also come with a drum. There's various sizes of drum sanders, and there's a little template that fits in here, which turned out to be very handy, and that sits in there like that if you're wanting to use this, which is exactly what I'm wanting to do. So why am I putting a steel deck on here? Well, there's many times that with the belt or with the drum, that I have a variety of jigs, holding jigs, and so on, that I want to be able to use with the sander, because otherwise you're holding everything by hand. So the things that I want to be more precision with, so that will allow me to use magnetic switches, same as what I used on the drill press, to make jigs for this. So what you're seeing here, this is plans. This is basically a plan of the top of that deck, but I needed to have an exact point of where I can drill here and here, because I have hole saws that I'm going to take this out and then cut this out with a reciprocating saw. But I'm going to drill this hole first of all, so that I can get right down on the steel when it comes time to drilling. So and that helps to cool a bit, is partially what that does as well. All right, I'm going to reset up and drill the other side, and when I come back, we'll actually be able to start drilling the hole saw. Okay, so I'm all ready to go here, and I've got that hole, the pilot hole already made. Now what I'm going to be doing, because I want to keep these teeth cool, I'm going to be spraying with water from time to time, and I'm going to be doing this pretty slowly, so this is going to take a little while. That was a tough job, but it's loose in there. This hole is quite a bit bigger, so this might be a bit tedious, but I'll start it off, and I may not show you the whole process because it is going to take a while. Okay, that should just pop out of there. Here we go. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I've got to clean up these edges, and for that I've got a special wheel for my grinder, and again, it should produce 0 to no sparks, so I'll have a quick look at that. But here we go, looking good so far. Okay, so I fit that in there. It's still loose in here. I just laid it on here, and I want to make sure that the belt is going to fit in there. I've rounded over the edges on the front here. I still need to touch them up. They're a little bit rough, but I want to make sure, first of all, before I do anything, because I'm working on the inside here, that the belt is going to fit in there. All right, and it clears. There's lots of room in there. That's great. Okay, so the next thing now is I need to look underneath. I think I'm going to put 4 flathead bolts through, which I don't have right now. So I'm going to zip out and pick up some of those, and then we'll measure for those full 4 bolts, and that will secure that on there. So that's looking excellent. I'm just super happy with that. Well, and there's those flat top bolts that I talked about, and I also have a countersink bit here, and of course that is so that I can make these flush with the top here. Now the next step I need to do is go and drill these 4 holes and bring this the steel back here and use those 4 holes as a guideline is where this is going to go into the deck of the sander here. And then when that's done, then I can go back to the drill press and I'll just drill a countersink hole so that they custom fit into each of these holes. So this part here, I'm going to drill the 4 holes off camera, and then when we come back here, we'll be able to drill holes into the deck here. And there's those 4 holes that I've just drilled. I have the steel deck firmly clamped. You can see that clamp. This one's off camera, but all I need to do now is drill those holes, and that steel deck is not going to move on there. And I'm just drilling into plastic now. I know it looks like metal, but it's just gray plastic. Okay, just want to make sure these all fit in there. Nice snug fit. Perfect. All right, the next thing I need to do is take the clamps off and go back to the drill press and use my countersinking tool. And this is a little bit tedious, so I'm probably not going to, well, I won't show much of it. What you need to do is drill a little bit, do a fit, drill a bit more, do another fit. Each one's going to take a little while, so I'll start off and show you one of them. Now before I put the steel deck on, I want to make sure that I have all of the sawdust off of here. Even these little holes in here. I don't want any of that to creep up in. Okay. All right. So, finally, here we go. Now there's a little bit of a burr on top of each one of these, and there's always a burr underneath, so I've removed all of those, and there we go. Look at that. Perfect. There. That's excellent. Now underneath, because this is a plastic top here, underneath I'm going to be using actually 3 washers. I'm going to use a lock washer because there's a fair bit of vibration with these machines. So I'm going to put on a lock washer, then a small flat washer, then a big one. In the meantime, I'm trying to find a larger washer with a smaller hole, but I don't have any on hand, so I want to get on with this. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm just going to go ahead and put those on, and then when we come back, I'll actually lock that down, and we'll give it a whirl here. Okay, And because this is a plastic deck, I'm not going super, super tight on here. That's why I put that locking washer on there. And that should stay on there. I'll check it after a couple of weeks or so and make sure that, well, you'll be able to see that these bolts come loose. And I wanted to check one last thing to make sure this is all, yeah, perfect. All right. Okay. I can put that back on. That should fit, just go right on there like that. There it is. Well, and there's the deck, steel deck on my sander. And as I've been making this, I've been thinking about different jigs that I'll be able to mount on here for doing different things. And for one example, I have this feather board here, commercial feather board, and I can put that now and I can lock that on there. That's locked on there, and I can push wood through just a little bit of light pressure, either to sand or to even size thin strips. And if I find that it's moving up and down too much, I even have a vertical version of the same thing. I can put that on there, so that'll keep it locked to the deck so that it's not moving up and down. Going to be interesting to try this. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll be doing that in the future. And I have some other jigs in mind that I can put on here as well. And because we can use mag switches on all of this, you can put these jigs anywhere. You don't have to worry about clamping them with clamps, C-clamps, and so on. So I am really looking forward to what we can do in the future. Some months ago, I put a steel deck on my router table, and that was a huge improvement to that router table. I'll put a link to that if you want to go and look at that as well. So in the future, lots of things to think about. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.